All right, good evening, ladies. I think this might be one of my most helpful and informative videos that I've ever made. I've been in crypto for 7 years and I've made so many mistakes that if I didn't make, I would be so disgustingly wealthy, it's not even funny. So in today's video, I want to share all those mistakes so you can speed run getting good at crypto, because it takes a lot of work to get good at crypto. I think even in your first cycle, it's quite hard to outperform Bitcoin by the end of the cycle, because probably you won't sell the top. Even if you do quite well in crypto, you won't sell at the right time. So I want to go through all those mistakes and go through a number. I think I have 20 tips here that will really speed run you in getting very good at crypto quickly. So if you do want to outperform the majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, I'm going to throw Ethereum out of there at this point. You really have to take crypto seriously. You can't be, just half-assing it and thinking, oh yeah, I'll just buy some meme coins, I'll follow these guys on Twitter, I'll follow these YouTubers and buy the coins they say and I'll make 100x. And you have to be put a little bit more effort in, and you have to be quite calculated and quite smart with your investments, your entries and your exits. So let's just dive into the first few tips on getting good at crypto quickly. So the first thing I would say is that in every cycle, there are a few new trendy categories that are popping off. They almost always are the best ways to make really good returns. So in 2020, in 2017, there were ICOs. Anyone who got involved in ICOs, I was just starting a crypto in 2017. I only bought the top of 2017, so I missed all the ICO action. But that was the way to make money, like insane amounts of money quickly in the 2017 cycle. Then in the next cycle, there was DeFi Summer in 2020, which I also missed. But there was also NFTs for 2021 and 2022. And with NFTs, I made a stupid amount of money on paper and round-tripped all of it. And now in this cycle, the biggest category so far has been meme coins. And obviously we're doing very well in that category so far. So make sure you're on board with the new trendy things of each cycle. So maybe in this cycle it's meme coins, but meme coins are obviously have a huge amount of mind share. So I would be looking at other categories as well. Obviously I'm not suggesting you ignore meme coins. I do think they have still some room to run, but with Trump becoming president, I do think coins that have utility. I'm looking at AI, I'm looking at a bit of DeFi as well, Solana alts as well. So maybe I'll do a video on Solana alts. But yeah, I'd be looking at AI and meme coins as two new trendy categories of this cycle. And I've been saying that for the last year. The next tip is so obvious, but people don't do it, is buy your crypto as early as possible in the cycle. So buy your crypto in the bear market, sell your crypto in the bull market. Obviously, most people do the inverse of this, but get your crypto in as early as possible. While Bitcoin is still below all-time highs, when I was preparing this video, Bitcoin was still below all-time highs. Kind of your last chance. If you want to get into crypto, you kind of need to just full port it at this point. Like, you're a little bit late, but you're not completely late. So kind of your last chances around these levels for the next few months, in my personal opinion. You want to get all in, you want to be all in at this point in time, and you want to start exiting within the next few months over the course of the next year. Crypto should be viewed as exit only once Bitcoin breaks all-time highs. That's not when you want to be putting fresh fiat, fresh money from your job into crypto. You only want to be putting fresh money from your job or from your savings into crypto in the bear markets. I haven't put any fresh fiat into crypto in like 9 months, since like January or something like that, because things went up too much. I didn't need to, so I could start saving and put that cash into savings accounts. It's a way to take profits without taking any profits. And then once you have a decent, after maybe you've gone through a cycle or two, once you have a decent portfolio, you should only really be viewing crypto as exit only. The next tip is to follow the right people. If you follow retards on crypto Twitter or on crypto YouTube, you're going to get wrecked. You kind of build up a knack for who's a good follow, and it's usually not the very big accounts. So don't be following people like Crypto Banter, BitBoy Crypto, or any of these guys who are like obviously not the best people to follow. You kind of get the most alpha from these like random milady PFP Twitter accounts, anonymous Twitter accounts, when they're shit posting 90% of the time, and then 10% is actually really good alpha. They're the kind of people you want to be following. Tip number 3, if you want to make good returns in a bear market, you need to go for high IQ plays. If you want to make good returns in the bull market, you need to go for low IQ plays. So obviously low IQ plays is like JPEGs, like NFTs and meme coins. In the bear market, it's a PvP environment, so there's no fresh capital coming in. Potentially there's even capital leaving, but in the bear market there's no fresh capital, so the only way you can make money is to outsmart everyone else. So it's actually quite hard to do that, obviously. But in a bull market, when things are going up, it's player versus environment. So you kind of want to go for the newest, lowest market cap stuff that's just taken off, like meme coins were. In that scenario, that's a player versus environment scenario where there's fresh money coming in, so you can make the most returns with that kind of strategy. Tip number 4, buy future attention, not current attention. So how do you go about buying future attention? You need to be able to think about what's going to have a lot of attention in the future, not what has a lot of attention right now. And you want to sell at max attention. When everyone's talking about the exact same thing, that's not the time you want to be buying. You want to be able to think in second order consequences. And the best way to be able to think in the future is to think in second order consequences. So an example of this was, okay, Solana looks really good. Everyone thinks Solana's going to be a good coin over the next year. So when it was $20 or $30, it was quite clear Solana was going to reprice versus Ethereum if you were in any way able to deduct things. So that's the first order consequence. Solana should catch up to Ethereum a bit. That's the first order thinking. I'm going to buy Solana. The second order thinking is where really huge amounts of the money was made. Okay, Solana increases in price. That means Solana meme coins are going to increase massively in price. So that's how we did so well on Solana meme coins. We were really early to that narrative and Solana DeFi back in the day. So like I mentioned at the start of this video, I round trip a huge amount of gains in the last cycle. And that's because it's a lot easier to buy the bottom than it is to sell the top. That's because usually in an accumulation phase, that lasts a long amount of time, whereas these parabolic blow-off tops only last a short amount of time. So the entries are much easier to get into because you have a lot of time to get into them, and the exits are only around for like a month or something, or a couple of months, or maybe even less. Because there's these little spikes where there's really amazing exit where the top is. So that's why most people round trip, because the window to take profits is actually really small. So the way to take profits is probably a mixture between, okay, if it reaches a certain price, and if it's above that price, I'm going to DCA out over time. Or what I'm also going to combine that with, all of 2025, I'm going to say, okay, I need to be selling a certain amount per week. And the more bullish it is, the more things are going up, the more I'll sell, something like that. Tip number 6 or something, buy the rumor, sell the news, almost always works in crypto. So the ETH merge, buy the rumor of the ETH merge, sell the news of the ETH merge. Tip number 7, be chronically online to spot new trends. Like I said, there's always new trends. There's probably going to be a new trend that pops off in this cycle that hasn't started yet. Maybe it's AI meme coins like we've talked about with the GOAT coin. I think that's going to go a lot higher. Anyway, be chronically online to spot these new trends. And then when you spot anything that could potentially be a new trend, try it out. Whether that's social-fi, like friend tech and fantasy top, that was like a trend for a while. But it requires a bit of effort. If something requires effort for you to do, like you have to bridge to a new chain, but you think there's potential there, but you're too lazy to do it, don't be too lazy to do it. If you're too lazy to do it, that means other people are too lazy to do it, and they're only going to bother doing it when people start making money. So you want to be the person who's making the money before the lazy people come and join and try and start making money doing that new trend. If it's bridging to a new chain, if it's downloading this new app, if it's buying meme coins on Solana, whatever it is, put in a little bit of effort to be one of the first people to do that. And only bother doing it if you do think there's a possibility that it does become a trend. Don't just bridge to some random Ethereum layer 2 and buy the meme coins there if that layer 2 has very little potential. That's probably just a waste of your time. But if you do think it's like, okay, this seems quite retarded, but this could become a thing, a lot of smart people are talking about it. If it does sound retarded, a lot of the time that's actually bullish. Yeah, so that's a bonus tip for you there. Only take asymmetric bets. I think this is a pretty obvious one, but if your downside risk is 100%, but your upside potential is 100x, that's an asymmetric bet. Only take bets like that. Whereas something like providing liquidity where you earn 30% APY on a new DeFi platform that's like somewhat risky, your downside is 100%, but your upside is only 30% per year. That's not a good asymmetric return. The downside is obviously because that new DeFi protocol is not battle tested and it could get hacked or something could go wrong. So only take positive asymmetric bets where your upside is much greater than your potential downside. As we're entering the bull market, don't try and value things based on fundamentals. Value things based on narrative and potential future fundamentals, which is the narrative, and also attention. That's the most important things when it comes to crypto, because everything is wildly overpriced on like price to sales ratios and stuff like that. There's not really much point trying to base stuff on fundamentals, especially in the bull market. That's because we're just so early with crypto. Obviously with the stock market, it's much easier to base things off fundamentals. You can say, oh, the price to earnings ratio, it looks cheap, but it's actually growing really fast. I think this is probably a good value to buy into. Whereas with crypto, everything is so early. The fundamentals haven't really caught up to the valuations yet because we're still in the speculation phase. We're still in the very early innings of crypto. So fundamentals don't match the price just yet, but potentially 10, 20 years down the line, and fundamentals actually catch up to the price. It's a reflexive loop. Crypto is the most reflexive industry in the entire market, meaning that the more the price of a coin goes up, the more the price of that coin goes up. And actually the increase in price of that coin improves the fundamentals of that coin a lot of the time. People see the price of Solana is going up, they're going to bridge over, and the TVL of Solana is going to go up, the revenue of Solana is going to go up, because people are actually going to bridge to that chain and start using it because the price of Solana is going up. So the fundamentals actually improve when the price of an asset goes up. And same thing with a meme coin. If the price of a meme coin is increasing, it's going to get more attention, it's going to get a better narrative, and people are going to become more culty around that coin. So crypto is highly reflexive to the upside and also to the downside. Tip number 8, recognize your emotions. And you don't always have to counter trade them, but make sure you're recognizing them, especially with PvP environments. If you're able to recognize your emotions, you're able to say, oh, that's how my enemies are going to be feeling. They're going to feel insane FOMO right now. Let me not FOMO in right now. Or, oh, my enemies are going to be insanely fearful right now, but the fundamentals are actually improving for this coin, or the chart actually is making higher highs and higher lows, but everyone's fearful on that coin. Maybe I can look at countering my own emotions because I'm feeling really scared, but maybe I can buy right now. But don't always just counter your emotions just for the sake of being contrarian. That doesn't work either. But being able to recognize when your emotions are at extremes, where you're extremely optimistic or extremely pessimistic, you can be like, okay, I'm extremely optimistic now. Let me not enter a load of highly leveraged longs. Let me not buy a huge amount of meme coins right now, or vice versa. Avoid FOMO as much as you can. FOMO will get you wrecked. And if you are feeling a bit of FOMO and you want to enter in position, don't enter it with huge size if you're feeling a lot of FOMO, because it's likely at some point you'll be able to re-enter at a lower price if you're feeling really like a lot of FOMO. But maybe entering with a small amount will kind of scratch that itch and scratch that urge, like, oh, okay, at least I have a little bit if it does continue to increase in price. Tip number 9, or whatever the fucking number we're on now, don't buy dino coins from the last cycle. Don't buy coins like XRP, ADA, Aave. All of these dino coins already have very high market caps, so the potential returns are lower. Buy coins that started from a lower base this cycle and are more likely to have fresh cults being formed. Dino coins usually don't outperform the new coins. The new shiny coins are usually the better bets. This kind of ties into tip number 10, is to buy cults early. So if a coin is starting from a low base in this cycle, like Solana started from a low base of 8, so anyone who bought in around $10 to $20 made a lot of money.
Rich! Millionaire, hey! Rich!
And became part of the Solana cult, or any sort of meme coin that launched in this cycle, a cult was formed around it, like Dog with Hat, Retardio, whatever. Any of these new coins that have popped off started from a really low base, and that allowed the holders to get rich. And if your holders get rich on your coin, they're going to be diehard fans of your coin and they're going to shield the coin relentlessly. In one of my previous videos, I'll link it up there, I showed you how you can find these cults early before they become cults. Okay, my last tip is when you're taking profits, don't reinvest those profits into the same narrative. I did this recently with GoCoin. I made a really nice return on GoCoin, took some profits along the way, and then reinvested those profits into beta plays of the AI meme narrative, which I would have been better just either holding the GOAT, or even better just keeping those profits in Solana or keeping those profits in USDC. And to add to that, if you're taking profits in the bull market, don't reinvest those profits into crypto. Like if you make a huge return on XYZ meme coin and you take some profits at a good time, don't reinvest that into Solana when Solana's $500. Don't reinvest those profits into Dogecoin or some other crypto. Take it out into fiat, and that's your profits starting to be banked for the bull market, for the cycle. Potentially even put it into a different category like Tesla stock. That's where most of my profits are going to go. I think it's absolutely lashing now, so fuck's sake. Okay, so the actual last tip that I forgot to mention is to join a network. So be on Twitter, share your ideas on Twitter, share your ideas on YouTube or wherever. Or if you don't want to share your ideas, just even DM people, be a reply guy on Twitter and try to make friends in the space. If you make friends, then you're able to bounce ideas off each other, and this really helps. People will be able to send you ideas, send you plays that you could take part in. And if you don't have a place to bounce ideas off with people, if you don't have any friends in crypto, join my free Telegram group in the description. We're always chatting in there. And if you want like a more in-depth trading or crypto advice, like a longer course of all of these tips and more, I have a course that comes along with the private group that I have in the description as well. So that's all for today's video. Really hope you enjoyed. I hope these tips help you. I hope you make millions in the cycle alongside me. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. See you later. Cheers.